Using Shopify apps for dropshipping in 2026 still comes down to the same core process as before, but the tools are faster. The data is cleaner, and the expectations from customers are higher. If you want to find products that actually sell, and then get those orders out the door without delays, you need to treat the apps as part of a system rather than as magic buttons. The first thing to understand is that Shopify itself does not hold inventory for dropshipping. It acts as the storefront and order management layer. The apps you connect sit between your store and the suppliers, and their job is to sync products, push orders, track fulfillment, and keep your product pages accurate without you manually copying and pasting. To start, you need a Shopify store that is set up and ready to receive orders. That means your theme is installed. Payments are connected through Shopify Payments or another gateway. Shipping zones are set and your legal pages are in place. Once that's done, you go to the Shopify App Store and search for dropshipping apps. In 2026, the most used ones are still built around direct integrations with suppliers in the US, EU, and Asia. And most of them work on a freemium model where you can list a certain number of products for free and pay more as your volume grows. When you install an app, give it the permissions it asks for. Without access to products, orders, and inventory, it cannot automate anything for you. Finding winning products is where most people get stuck, and the apps help here by giving you access to live sales data, supplier stock levels, and trend filters. Instead of guessing based on what looks cool, you filter by products that have consistent order volume in the last 7 to 30 days, low return rates, and suppliers that can ship to your target countries in under 7 days. In 2026, most apps pull in shipping times by country directly from the supplier, so you can avoid listing anything that would take 30 days to arrive in the US or EU. You also want to check the product margins after app fees, payment processing, and estimated ad costs. A product that costs you $5 to source and $2 to ship might look good until you realize ads cost $8 per sale and Shopify takes its cut. Use the app's calculator if it has one, or run the numbers yourself before importing. When you find a product that meets those checks, you import it into Shopify with one click. The app pulls the title, description, images, variants, and price. Do not leave it as is. Rewrite the title to make it clear and searchable. Rewrite the description to focus on what the product does for the customer and replace any low-quality images. Google and Facebook both penalize stores that use the same supplier, images, and text as thousands of other stores. Your product page needs to look like you actually tested the item. Set the price based on your margin target, and set up variants correctly so inventory syncs properly. If a supplier runs out of a color or size, the app should set that variant to out of stock automatically. Turn that on in the app settings, because selling something you cannot fulfill is the fastest way to get refund requests and bad reviews. Order fulfillment in 2026 is mostly automated if you set it up right. When a customer places an order, Shopify records it and the app detects it within minutes. The app then sends the order to the supplier, pays them if required, and pulls the tracking number back into Shopify once the supplier ships. That tracking number gets emailed to the customer automatically. Your job is to check the app dashboard daily for failed orders. Failures happen when the supplier is out of stock, the address is invalid, or payment to the supplier failed. Fix those within a few hours and the customer will never know there was an issue. If you wait 48 hours, you'll be issuing refunds and losing trust. Speed is what separates stores that survive in 2026 from stores that don't. Customers expect delivery in 5 to 10 days for most countries, and they expect tracking their updates. That means you should prioritize suppliers who have warehouses in the US, EU, UK, or Australia if those are your main markets. Many apps now show you which suppliers have local warehouses and let you filter by them. The cost per item is usually higher, but the conversion rate and refund rate more than make up for it. If you are using suppliers in China, be transparent about shipping times on the product page and in your checkout. Hiding that information creates chargebacks. Another part of fulfilling orders fast is managing inventory sync. If you import 100 products and don't turn on inventory sync, you will sell items that are out of stock. Turn on automatic sync in the app settings so that when a supplier's stock hits 0, the variant on your store goes to 0 too. Some apps also pause the entire product if all variants are out, which prevents ad spend from going to dead listings. Check that this is working by manually checking a few products each week. Apps can have sync delays, and catching it early saves money. Customer service is tied directly to fulfillment. In 2026, customers expect replies within a few hours. Use Shopify inbox or a connected help desk app. And set up canned replies for common questions like, "Where is my order?" and "Can I change the address?" Most of the time the answer is in the tracking link or in the supplier's notes, and the app dashboard will show you both. If a package is lost or delayed, contact the supplier through the app's messaging system and request a reship or refund. Most suppliers will reship once if you have proof of non-delivery. Keep a record of these conversations inside the app so you can reference them if a customer disputes the charge. Advertising is still the main way to find out if a product is a winner, but the apps help you close the loop. When an ad starts spending, watch the app to see which products are getting orders and which are getting refunds or complaints. Pause products with high refund rates immediately, even if they are making sales. A product that makes $500 in sales but costs you $700 in refunds and chargebacks is not a winner. Keep a spreadsheet or use the app's analytics to track cost per acquisition, refund rate, and average delivery time per product. After 30 to 50 orders, you will know if it's worth scaling. Scaling in 2026 means moving from single product tests to small catalogs of 10 to 20 products that are related. The apps make this manageable because they handle bulk imports and bulk price updates. When you scale, watch your supplier's capacity. A supplier that can handle 50 orders a day might fail at 500. Talk to them through the app's messaging system before you scale spend. In conclusion, using Shopify apps for dropshipping in 2026 works best when you treat them as tools that remove manual work and give you faster, cleaner data to make decisions. The stores that do well are the ones that focus on finding products with real demand and fast shipping. Keep their product pages clear and original, and stay on top of fulfillment and customer messages every day. Automation handles the repetitive tasks, but you still need to watch for failures, talk to suppliers, and cut products that cause problems before they hurt your reputation. If you keep your process tight, test small, and scale only what proves it can deliver. Without delays or complaints, the apps will let you run a lean store that can fulfill orders quickly and keep customers coming back.